and justice for all.
Please observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Begin with roll call, beginning with Commissioner Doug Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Mike Stephen. Here. Commissioner Culberson.
Here.
Commissioner Mike Smith.
Here.
And then I'm Vicki Cos. I am here. Okay. There is no agenda item public comments, I don't believe, for today, so we'll move on to administrative business. Mr. Lothry, do you have anything today?
Commissioners, I forward you a request that we received last week from the Port Authority to set a work session. I tentatively set that date at November 1st. I just wanted to check and make sure that worked for everybody. And then also to ask if you have anything that you would like to add to that agenda, that you get that to me.
I'm good November 1st.
Everybody okay with November 1st?
Yeah.
I think that we can.
Yeah, I'll just schedule this into one of our normal work sessions.
Okay.
That works.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. And again, if you have anything specific you'd like on that agenda, you can get that to me this week or the first part of next week so we can have it on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all I have.
I have one thing.
What you do?
It's easy. This is easy, though.
You're right.
On November the 8th, I have a conflict with railroad work. I wondered if we could move the meeting either to the 7th or to the 9th.
I'd have to check my schedule.
I won't be in town on the 7th. I'll be down in Georgia.
Can you call in?
I just won't be available if I.
As long as it's not the 7th, I'll be back that 7th night. I don't care. Whatever y'all want to do. I just can't do it the 7th night.
The 9th is the 9th.
If y'all want to.
9th is what day of the week?
That's Thursday.
I don't know until I look at my schedule.
Can we?
Okay.
I don't have a problem with either one.
We could.
Well, let's
Come
check
back
the
to it
schedules
next
and we'll
week,
get
yeah.
back and make sure that if
The
that
9th.
works for
Okay.
the
You'll
rest
be back
of
by
the
the
board.
9th?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make sure that works for the board,
Yep.
that there's no other appointments. Okay, thank you.
Things we do for
Commissioner
you.
Culberson, do you have anything
Nope.
today? No. If not, I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I make a motion we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is second. Begin voting with Commissioner Doug Smith.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. All right. We have no formal board action today, so we're going to go on down to presentations and discussion items with our quarterly reports, beginning with Human Resources.
Good morning.
All right, Monica.
For quarter three, we ended at the county with a head count of 444. We have currently 9 open positions. We have hired 85 new hires this year so far, have lost 70 employees, which is about a 16% turnover rate this year, and our average tenure for our current employees is sitting at 7.5 years. We have 26 injuries so far this year compared to 27 so far for last year, and while the number is looks like it might be a little higher this year, the costs are actually lower, so the claims are smaller. We're going to be doing some more digging into that to do some safety training and try to lower those over the next year. This last quarter, we focused a lot on transitioning our payroll and HRIS provider over to Paylocity. We implemented our first self-service benefit enrollment for all of our employees, which was absolutely a huge success. It went over really well. The deadline was met. Every employee participated, and we were able to get through all of the enrollment. We ended up with 68% of our eligible employees enrolling in our medical plan, 84% in our dental, and 78% participation in our vision. One of the things that we did this last quarter, I worked with Mark and Aaron as well, to get doorbells and signage on all of our public accessible entrances in the courthouse so that we have ADA assistance for anyone who needs that. And we also completed our defensive driving certifications for all of the county drivers.
Can I just step in for one quick second? On the ADA signage, I just wanted to point out that we actually had a customer that came into the commission office and pointed out that he had difficulty with some of the doors. And so we got right on that, and Monica and Aaron took care of that. I really appreciate that. But sometimes, it just takes someone pointing it out. You just don't think about it until it's pointed out. We want to make sure that we are accessible to everyone.
Yeah. Monica, before we go into ongoing activities, on the 70 terminations, is that from resigning or is that from
It's a combination of voluntary and involuntary. I can absolutely break that out for you if you'd like to see.
No, I just want to see like a high number. That's the only thing I'm saying. But that's the way it goes.
It's just the way the form that they use, whether people resign
Doesn't split it. It does it like
or are
this.
terminated, it uses the same term.
Okay.
I've wondered about that myself before, Commissioner.
Okay.
But so most of those are probably voluntary resignations.
And we've had some retirements too. So, okay, thank you.
Agreed. Yeah, we can definitely show you the reasons why if you'd like to dig into that.
Yeah.
Reasons why we're.
Being no city manager, that might not be a bad idea for me.
What are we doing to improve the safety training to try to bring down the number of?
The first thing is I have actually told Mark and DVP that I would work together to get those numbers and try to figure out what is our biggest department and or reason why. Slips, trips, and falls seems to be coming out on top, but I want to do a little more research on that and find out exactly what is causing that. It looks like snow and weather might have been the case of that in the past. I want to look into the 2022 and 23 numbers a little further, but then work with each department specifically on what they've experienced and see if we can put some things into place. I know the managers are already really good on whenever time there's an injury, they look to what was the root cause at that time and try to fix it so that doesn't happen again. So that has been something that they've been doing really good this year.
That's a good point. On that point also, I guess the next one, does our insurance companies do walkthroughs or any kind of safety checks in our departments? Years ago they used to come out and if they see something that maybe we assume is every day that we wouldn't catch our attention.
We just had a walkthrough in August.
Okay, good, good.
And the departments were each sent their report on anything that was
Great,
wrong within
great,
the department
great.
that needed to be looked at.
Okay, thank you.
Sure did.
And Monica, do you do on voluntary exit? Do you do exit interviews?
If we get a heads up, so they give a 2-week notice, I do talk to them a little bit about where they're going, what's going on, just to kind of gather some information about what we could do to try to retain those employees.
I'm sure the majority of it's pay.
Yeah, we don't have a form that you fill out.
I don't have
Doug,
a
that's
formal
good.
exit
Doug, that's a good
process,
point.
no.
Okay.
I think we all know the answer, though. When people are leaving, it's more money.
Sometimes.
Both.
I
think it would be good if we formalize that process,
It's helped me in the past.
To do exit interviews?
Yeah, Doug, I think Mike, I think it's a good idea. Just me speaking. It helped me in years gone by on some things that I wasn't aware of. But like Doug says, a lot of times it's money, the grass is greener. But still be nice to know and have it on a document. Just a thought.
No, we can absolutely dig deeper into that. We have to trust that they'll be honest too, right?
Right.
In their reasoning.
Yeah, no, you got to read in between it. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll shut up for a while. Go ahead.
Okay, I had a question on the 2023 turnover, 16%.
Yes.
Like year over year, last year, in previous years, does that kind of match up with what we've had in the past?
That is a great question. I have that down here on some of my future goals.
Okay.
Is to start
Yeah.
to go back
Okay.
and look at a lot of those metrics so that we have some year-over-year numbers for
Yep,
you.
yep.
I started tracking it myself, and I didn't really see that it was. I'm sure it exists somewhere, but I need to go back and actually do the research and find those numbers so we know the
Yeah.
statistics. Yeah.
And how does your department interact with like the elected officials as far as the hiring process?
The same as any other department. If there's a position that needs to be opened, they submit the form to have it posted.
So
The
that entirely
position-
comes through you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The position goes to post it for it to become out to the public, and then applications come in and are filtered through Ashley, which is our benefits and recruiting person in my office, and then those applications are forwarded on to the department head to go through and decide who they want to do interviews on.
Yeah, I've seen the advertisements before. Yeah.
All right. That's all.
Some of our ongoing activities this next quarter is to continuing to work with our broker and our vendors on our electronic benefit and payroll feeds. Just because the systems have gone live, there's still some things on the back end that we are continuing to wrap up and become more familiar with in my office on running reports and getting those things running each payroll. Continuing to convert all of our employee files over to electronic documents. We are looking at our 2023 countrywide chili cook-off coming up in November, hopefully.
Where's Bill at? Where's Bill?
We will have some information coming out soon on that to be announced later this week or next week. At the time I wrote this last week, we were in the process of creating a harassment, diversity, and inclusion training for our new hires, and that has already went live. It went live this week. So any new hires coming in will now complete that 20-minute session and receive a certificate, as well as looking at it's time for a refresher for the entire county coming up in spring of 24.
Good idea.
And then using our injury and non-injury reports to research our workers' compensation trends and determine where we need to focus on that safety in each department moving forward. Some of the future goals for this next year that we're looking at is to continue to revamp our orientation, provide an exciting and memorable experience for our new hires. Definitely want to dive more into wellness initiatives offered to our employees to promote and reward healthy behaviors. Our training across the entire county, as well as department-specific education and communication, different things that we already have in place that are not being utilized. We want to definitely use our resources more. And then, Commissioner Stephen, like you said, those year-over-year metrics. That's absolutely one of my goals is just leave of absence, turnover, workers' compensation, exit interviews, all of that. Would love to have more data to give you on how we're improving over the years.
Do you outsource the harassment, diversity, and inclusion training? Is that outsourced, or is that where do you get that?
We decided to use something that was offered in our new Paylocity system.
Okay. What's the name of that? Do you know?
It's just the harassment and diversity
through Paylocity.
Paylocity. It's a video and a little test that they take with a certification at the end. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Fast enough.
Other questions for
Jeff? I don't.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Solid waste, Tammy.
Good morning.
So this is our two-quarter report, April through September. We processed 207,000 more tons than the same time frame last year. Tire tonnage decreased from 52 ton to 43, which is nice. Brush went up from 5 to 6 ton. Our annual cleanup increased by 69 residents and disposing of 1,788 more tons. We've seen a decrease in our HHW appointments by 3. We're working hard to get a team together. We had 2 employees retire. 1 spouse got reassigned to another state, and 1 is moving to a federal job for retirement benefits. So we're working on that. John Hawk, who is the Kansas Sewanna treasurer, nominated me for the Kansas Sewanna Award, and that was presented at the Kansas Sewanna Conference in Wichita at the beginning of October.
Congratulations.
Great.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a surprise.
Good. Well deserved.
That's about us in a bowl of nuts.
Anybody have questions for Tammy?
Well, as long as we don't hear anything from KDHE, it's all good.
They should be coming. I mean, they can come anytime now.
Right.
They switched dates, and so from now until next August, they can come.
You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Yoakum for Building and Grounds.
Morning.
Morning, Commissioners. As usual, we've been busy. This last quarter seemed like parking lots was the theme. The Justice Center parking lot on both sides. We did routering on the cracks, crack seal, slurry coat, and repaint. Over here, the guys repainted all of the stripes on the courthouse side. Jamie Miller's parking lot at the health department was milled, overlaid, and repainted. And then our parking lot at Cushing is now base in, top on, and it is striped. So they're working on fencing, and then we'll start on landscaping. We had a slight issue with our drainage over there, as the gas line was not as deep as they thought it was, so we had to adjust with SMH on how our drainage is on the new parking lot over there. We rerouted a private line that had a sewer line, and it would have gone directly through the parking lot as it was a private line in there. We took it through the landscaping, so if we have any issues later on and we're not digging up our parking lot. Justice Center, we had a mini split go out for the server room. That is an additional air to keep the temperature down on the servers in there. I've received 2 of the 4 companies that I called to come get a price quote on it, and then I'll be working with County Administrator on getting that accomplished. The boilers will be on my 2024 plan for the Justice Center to replace those. As previously stated, we had done work to the Cleaver Brooks ones over there, and those are hitting their end-of-life stage. That is going to be a large expenditure. We have contacted the City of Leavenworth when they were doing their budgeting for that, as they have to pay a portion of the replacement on those items. So, other than that, it's the daily business of making sure everything's running properly.
Any questions for Aaron?
I do not.
Sewer districts.
Yep.
How are we on all of our lagoons?
After we did all of our sludge testing and that,
Yeah, the sludge testing.
we were, I believe our largest amount of sludge was like 12 to 14 inches, which puts us still in a range that expanded out years. We're still like a decade before we're going to have to start digging it out, which surprised me, because High Crest was the one that we had to complete the sludge test for KDHD on. We had Digger Jim do the sludge testing on it. Came back fine. Submitted all of our paperwork to KDHD. Still hoping Lansing keeps pushing their sewer out west towards Kenneth Bernard Park, so that way we can connect up out there and lose the sewer district. High Crest will probably be our last one that we'll get rid of.
The one further south, how's it doing?
We're Metro's good.
Metro's good?
Metro's good. Yep.
So it's safe to say we got 10 years?
Yes, sir.
So in 5 years we need to be figuring something out?
Yes, sir. City of Bonner or City of
Probably
Basin.
not going to be any of our problems here.
Mine.
5 years. Well, that's good. I'm surprised. I mean, they've been there a long time.
Well, if you maintain
So obviously
well,
the maintenance and maintaining them is working.
That's the key.
So
the hardest thing about lagoons is the fact that the KDHD standards have changed, and they're holding lagoons to the same testing that you're getting on treatment plants.
Yep.
So, all of your levels start having to get lower as well. And with lagoons, it's time, wind, and sun that do the work, as well as enzymes, not treatment. So,
okay. Well, that's my biggest concern on these sewer districts, because I remember when they were all put in, they were only going to be temporary.
Commissioner
That's
Stephen.
30-some years ago.
Mike Getz made a career out of them.
I know. Well, when you see your average tenure here is 7.5 years, I think Commissioner Culverson and myself kind of broke that record.
Commissioner Stephen?
Do you see any near-term and then long-term additional major expenditures that are foreseeable at the Cushing facility?
Major? No, not unless you take a tenant on the second floor and you work with them on offsetting their rent for anything. Other than that, the grant that we received for the parking lot covered 90% of that. The total it has to be, for ours is $583,333, which 90% of that was grant funded. So extrapolate that out. But our boilers over there were replaced under an insurance claim. AC, chiller, multi-stack would be covered under my normal funding that I get for the building. Other than that, I don't see any large expenditures over there that we would be occurring.
It's twice now. You've done it twice.
Well, I'm not one of those people that like, hey, I can guarantee you that it's not going to have any issues. It is a historic building. I mean, it's an old building.
It's been around.
Commissioners, if you
Thanks.
recall, we did adjust what Aaron was setting aside for capital improvements during the budget process to keep the mill levy down. He did ask for more than we eventually gave him, so that is something to keep in mind.
Any other questions for Aaron?
So when you're talking about the second floor, how much money are you talking if we did get a tenant?
Oh, that's one of those things that you could work it out as however long their lease would be, you could subsidize it.
Well, I mean, if it was another county department.
Well, you've got 20,000 square feet up there. If you finished all of it out at the same rate, you'd be anywhere from $150 to $200 a square foot. Ballpark.
Okay.
I don't
We wanna have a
see you
tenant.
putting any more county facilities
We need
in
a
there
tenant.
currently. I don't even know which ones you would put in there.
Buildings and grounds.
Sir, we need a lot less than that, and we could take
I
the
know.
basement.
I'm just trying to, we do got that empty space.
Yes, sir. And I think a paying tenant would be the best solution for the county.
I agree.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Mr. Knoll,
Morning, Bill.
morning.
Morning, Commissioners. We're going to start with Road and Bridge. Road and Bridge has, as you guys know, it's been really dry. We have been hauling some rock, but mostly over the last quarter is when we do all of our asphalt and chip and seal maintenance. I'd like to really point out the map that was included in the back of the packet. Shows our 2026 projected. It'd be our 2023. It's a 3-year cycle map. And so this year we did complete 114.7 miles of chip and seal. The north part of the county has a lot of long, straight roads, and so the guys do a great job of covering quite a few miles per day and really getting after it when we get into those longer stretches and we're not working within subdivisions. It's really what our equipment's set up for, and it allows us to cover a lot of distance. Also costs a lot of money. But they do a great job of managing that, and really like to thank them for their efforts on that this year. I'm not sure, but I believe it's the most miles that we've done ever, possibly, and definitely in the years that I've been here, it's the most miles that we have done of the maintenance. So they did a great job on that. The budget, as it stands within Road and Bridge and local service, is very comparable to last year. Last year we did finish with about $115,000 approximately left in the budget, which is
Ridiculous
I think,
low.
maybe the second lowest that it had ever been. We anticipate that occurring again. We do run a very tight budget. We don't have a lot of areas that we can afford to not utilize. We would try to leave a little bit more money than that in it just for end of the year snow events. If we run into a very snowy last half of December, we could have some issues there. But everything works out, we should be just fine. One thing that has changed is that this year we have tomorrow there's a bid opening for Trap Rock. We had the work session. We discussed the trap rock earlier in the year for chip and seal next year. There could be some changes in the budget based upon when that is delivered. It is coming via rail car, most likely. And so if that does not get delivered, say, until January, it's not spread out over the 2 budget cycles, it could affect our budget where we have some of that money left over from this year. We could adjust that out in some transfers and then carry that money over into next year and adjust the money out accordingly to pay for it. But it could end up in a situation where we have additional funds that we need to expend, or we could have less funds just depending on when the rail delivery is scheduled. So putting it out there that our rollover, whether it be $100,000 or $300,000, could be impacted by the delivery time frame of that trap rock. We have 6 vacancies within the department. We've had a long engineering intern position that's vacant. We do go from fully staffed occasionally down to a number of vacancies. It's pretty common that we are running in that 2 to 3 range of empty positions at all times, not because we're not getting them filled, but because the turnover rate's fairly high. I know Monica spoke earlier over the turnover. I can say that in our department it has slowed down a little bit since, say, 2021, where we lost 60-plus employees in 6 months. But our turnover rate is still fairly significant. We've had at least 1 retirement and 2 employees leave in the last month. So when they do leave, this is the end of the quarter with 4 full-time positions. But of those, 3 of them we just put out for advertisement here in the last week and a half. From a project perspective, the reseeding of 158th Street was completed by King's Construction. Finney and Turner Seed has completed their reviews of the Benish plans. We did send back some comments about sheet piling and found some different issues that we wanted to see addressed in the 2 structures that we have remaining to construct next year as part of the ARPA funds. We're anticipating bidding those projects probably in December for a early next year to mid next year replacement cycle. ST 100 on Fairmount Road was opened approximately a week and a half ago. That project was successful. It was completed on time and without any change orders by Ebert Construction. It was a Kansas Off-System Bridge Program grant. It was 20% county funds and 80% state funds for that grant project. E48 opened about 2.5 weeks ago. That was a local bridge program grant. That grant covered $150,000 of the cost of that structure. Donlinger Construction completed that project, and that project was also completed on time, ahead of schedule, and without any change orders. The Tonganoxie Road HRRR project, KDOT has moved the bid letting out to November of 2024, but we still do have water line relocation on that project and 2 properties that are in the condemnation process. I believe that hearing is set for the appraisals in about a week and a half. County Route 30 still is continuing to have the Rural Water District agreement situation ongoing. The water line does need to be relocated. I believe they had a meeting last night, but I do not know the outcome of that meeting or whether they accepted the agreement. We have some bridges. I won't go through every single one of them specifically, but we have several bridges on the schedule for next year. We're hoping to build 4 bridges next year. HP 36 is going to be a significant closure on 187th Street. It is right at the intersection of Stranger Road. It is just north of the co-op, and it will also affect the road department services there on 187th Street. But with the proximity to the intersection, we do have to remove a significant amount of the roadway in order to meet the 55-mile-an-hour design speed that the road currently has. But that project will be completed next year. We have culvert projects, 4 of which you'll have a bid opening to approve next week. The county crews are going to install their culverts. and we have another 3 that we're bidding out for contractor completion in early spring, with the April completion date. The first 3 to get bid, 2 of them are on 206th Street, and 1 is on Logan Road up north. We did contract the biannual bridge inspections with Finney and Turnipseed, and the regional transportation capital improvement study was completed in the last quarter. Yesterday we did attend the last of the local consults. Commissioner Cos was there representing the county with me, and it went very well. We had several projects score very high because we had a very good turnout. I'd like to thank the city administrators, commissioners, and some of the local city council members for attending that. Numbers are important when you go to those local consults, and 25% of the scoring matrix is based on input. So we did go to the Manhattan one and the Johnson County one. Both of them were considered District 1, and in both cases we had enough representation that our projects were in that high priority category. SMH has been selected initially for the second phase of the Tonganoxie Road through the selection committee process outlined by KDOT. Their pricing and a contract will be presented to the Board of County Commissioners either next week or the following week for that project. So we do have a pending cost share application for County Route 30 between Dempsey Road and 4H Road. We did apply for $1 million on that project after we did not end up applying for that project funding on 222nd Street. Noxious weed is continuing to mow. We have had the mowers out all year. It's been very dry here lately, so we're starting to get a little bit caught up because the vegetation has finally stopped growing. But we will continue to mow through the winter until there is snow on the ground or it becomes too muddy. The survey department is continuing to work on the township surveys. I've attached a map. We are in Easton Township. I believe we have approximately 15 section corners left that are lost or obliterated, meaning they're not in place currently, that we're going to have to reset within Easton Township. But the attached map shows all the ones that they found. We anticipate that project being done this winter, and then we would have Easton and Kickapoo Townships completed, full surveys of every single section corner. That's a great accomplishment for the surveying department, and really appreciate the guys' efforts on that. We continue to knock out all the survey reviews for planning and zoning and the register of deeds that are processed within both the cities and the counties. It's important to remember that we do have to review all of the plats and surveys that are recorded within the cities as well, even though we don't actually have any jurisdiction over them, just based upon state statute for the Register of Deeds office. Fleet management, we are continuing to have a slow delivery on a lot of the replacement vehicles within our fleet. We've tried extensively to work with Enterprise in order to push them to get those vehicles delivered. The ones that we have turned in and been able to replace have had an extremely high resale value. We have been able to either break even or actually sell the used vehicles for more than what we purchased them for in most cases, in nearly every case. And the real issue is we'd like to turn them over much faster than we are currently, and that's what they had initially sold the concept on. But it is very hard to get government vehicles right now, and so we're getting as many as we can, and we're replacing them as they come available. And the GIS department, they continue to do good quality work, and I'd like to thank them for all of the stuff that they do. One of the things that I'd like to point out is we did put one of the bridges, the E48 bridge, on Facebook, and we'll be putting ST100. But they've gotten very good at flying the drones. So we're getting very high quality before and after pictures of all of our projects. We also had before and after videos flown at the 158th Street corridor when we did the seeding. And so with that technology and that and Soma got her FAA license in order to be able to fly that drone. And so we're getting a lot of really good video. So if any of the commissioners have any projects specifically or anything that they like to see flown, we'd be happy to do it.
Any questions for Bill this morning?
Just have County Road 30. When is that going to go out to bid on the south part, south of Dempsey?
South of Dempsey. Well, we're still waiting. Hopefully by November 15th, the federal government will have passed the omnibus or omnibill, and we'll know whether or not we have any congressionally directed spending, and then we'd have to sign an FHWA agreement prior to bidding that project. And so we'll know November 15th approximately, or whenever the federal government decides to not shut it down and pass that. And so hopefully no later than January 15th, we have to bid that project in order to be within the 6-month time frame of the Kansas cost share grant.
And for a completion date by, we have to spend the money by.
Well,
It's not. It's just
the Kansas cost share agreement doesn't have a completion date; it has a contracted date. So as long as we have it under contract by the 6-month deadline,
Right.
and ready to roll out into construction, we can set the beginning date in March or April, or we can say immediately. Obviously, we want to have it done before November of next year.
So we are on a tight time frame when it comes to bidding.
Yeah, we need to. The bidding of the project is the critical element right now, because we have to get if we are awarded any additional funds, we have to get an FHWA contract in place before we bid it, and we have to do that in a time frame that is before the Kansas cost share program 6-month period rolls off. And so we probably will only have about a 60-day period to have that secondary contract signed before we have to have that bid. So it's going to be very tight.
Okay. And then ST26, it's next year?
Well, right now it is. That'd be a second closure on Fairmount Road in 2 consecutive years. We had looked at the possibility of pushing it one additional year, but K-19 north of town is also going to coincide with the closure of 20th and Spruce, or right at Casey's there, going west out of town on 92 Highway. KDOT's going to do some work in that intersection and close it for several months, and they're wanting to use that route as a detour route, and they're wanting to film it and put a bunch of additional traffic as the cut through up to US 73. And so we can't have both roads closed at the same time, or there's really not a good way around. So you'd have to take 231st Street at that point up to Easton if you're resting on Blacktop. So if we have to move that project, then we do ST26 to try to get it in next year. But right now we have 4 bridges, HP 36, the 2 Benish bridges, T34 and A49, and A60, which is the wood plank bridge on the dead end road, as the 4 bridges we're definitely going to do next year. We could easily do another one.
There'll be a lot of road closures next year.
A lot of big roads.
Commissioner Stevens?
Progress.
Question on the 158th Street. We did the traffic light study. Came back and said they didn't need a traffic light, but they were planning to level the hill. They were going to maybe put a roundabout in. Where does that stand with KDOT?
Well, my understanding was they advertised for design. I don't know who they selected. They never notified me of who they selected. That's probably been a few months now. So I don't know if they have selected and contracted a design firm to do that work. But it was my understanding that they were going to design a roundabout slightly south of the intersection. And in order to avoid the cemetery, there's a cemetery there where the hill is. And so they can't really just level the hill grade back, or they'd be into that church property with the cemetery. So one solution was a roundabout. I think it's in KDOT has strong reservations about putting any stoplights on K32. They do not want it to become another K7. And so as it grows west, and there's more development down in that area, I think that they are considering a series of roundabouts on K32.
Okay. So as far as you know, though, that project's moving ahead.
As far as I know, but I haven't received any updates probably since, I don't know, June. I can contact KDOT and find out if they've got the design firm selected and where they're at in the process.
Yeah, if you don't mind doing that, that'd be great. The other thing is, back to this County Route 30, if we cannot come to accommodation with and this might be a Mr. Van Paris question, the process of moving ahead, notwithstanding the water district, what would be that process?
Well, Commissioners, the county can proceed with the road project. One of the complications would that necessitate the disruption of water service to the patrons that live along that area. We're working with the water district to try to reach an agreement with respect to the cost of the relocations. There has been movement, positive on both sides. As Bill recited, they had a meeting last night. I will reach out to their legal counsel and see if he can share any information on that. But I would suggest that we attempt to our best abilities to reach an agreement with the Rural Water District in order not to imperil the timing of the project should there be any, well, quite frankly, I'll use the word complications.
Well, that would be the best, but if not, we don't want to jeopardize this road project.
It would be very difficult, but it could proceed.
Mr. Culberson, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. Now we are going to move on to additional public comment for today. Begin with Sherry Grogan. Come on down.
Good morning.
Hello, Sherry Grogan, 16635 Leavenworth Road, and I'm here to talk a little bit about Forever Fencing special use permit. In full disclosure, I haven't contracted for services from Forever Fencing. I have a good relationship with Raymond, and I've followed the process that this SUP went through, so I understand there were a lot of twists and turns, and there was some legal proceedings about that. And I debated on whether to provide comments, but I want to provide an outsider's look inward and just some observations. The first thing is there were clearly some processes that weren't followed and kind of a disregard for the processes prior to the actual SUP being filed, and that was in the 2018 forward time frame. No one provided any opposition comments at the public hearing in front of the Planning Commission. Planning recommended approval of the SUP. There were no any mention about past issues with work that was done with the county. And then the condition of the payback, the fact that the county didn't really take any action after 2008 until they filed the SUP, it kind of seems like, okay, that's not a reasonable expectation, especially if the county contracted for his services after that incident and he's on the approved vendor list. So that kind of seems a little odd. And if you think back, that was 15 years ago. The gentleman would have been 25, and I don't know about you, when I was 25, I was still learning how to be an adult and kind of going through some things, and so I don't know what was going on at that time, but when the SUP made it to the, you guys and gals, the comments were that it didn't meet the comprehensive plan, and then there were some staff recommendations as to why there was a denial. So if I look at the list of approved SUPs, we have numerous contractor yards that have been approved throughout the county. numerous construction companies, tree service, crane rental, repair shop. I mean, quite a few of them. So the fact that it didn't comply with the land use map, well, we have a lot of them that are on the list that didn't comply as well. So I like to look at this from a human element perspective. This business is in jeopardy. You know, that's how they put food on their table and a roof over their head. You know, they've been in business at least 18 years. And so I would just try to provide a path so that this business can operate. And, you know, we've given quite a few businesses second chances. You know, I've been following what's going on up here for a few years now, and there were other businesses that did not have special use permits and that were operating in the county, and we worked with them and gave them that second chance. And this is a really good example about how the county can be business friendly. Right now, it seems like this business, you're not being really very friendly towards them. And they're kind of caught in between a rock and a hard place. They're either going to have to go find a place within the industrial zone location, and that would be a costly option for them. Or they're going to have to move out of the county, go find some other place to operate. So I would just say, like, try to put the past behind you and move forward. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Commissioners, I would like to provide some guidance today. All citizens are entitled to address this body during a public comment period, so long as their comments aren't disruptive, profane, or threatening. That said, because this topic is a matter of pending litigation, I respectfully ask this body not to comment or engage on it, to just hear the comments.
Thank you. Okay, well, now we have Mike McDonald.
Morning, Mike.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Mike McDonald at 14439 Wood End Road, Bonner Springs, which is an address that is inside Leavenworth County. I am here to offer my support for Forever Fencing in their efforts to continue to operate in the county. They have been a fixture in this area for many years and related to fencing and of all types, and they recently performed a substantial fence project at our address. The crew that worked on our project, they all live locally. They worked very hard. They were respectful of our property, and they did a very good job. We expect to have Forever Fencing perform other fencing work in our future. This is the type of hardworking small business that the county says they want to attract and retain, especially if you read the Economic Development Mission Statement. I will pass this out, but I have attached a copy of the statement and wish to note the following applicable items, all of which are supported and staffed by a full-time, taxpayer-funded employee of the county. Under the What We Do section, it's shown that small business development and support, also business retention and existing business communications. It's also noted that the economic development goal of the county is to support existing businesses of all sizes in advancing their ability to thrive within Leavenworth County. And lastly, a special note that the Economic Development Administrator is pleased to meet with you regarding any business concern you may have within the county. I therefore respectfully request that the County Commission cease this constant, targeted, expensive, and embarrassing effort to eliminate a small business within the county. Thank you.
Just hand that to legal counsel, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I now have Brendan Sheehan.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Brendan Sheehan. I'm the owner of Santa Fe Trails, a bicycle shop in downtown Leavenworth. I'm joined by Debbie Deere, Leavenworth Main Street Director, and Jen Anders, Leavenworth Lansing Chamber of Commerce Director. I'm here to talk to you today about U.S. Bicycle Route 55, and moreover, here to get your approval to put it on your agenda. I think I've spoken to Commissioner Cos via email about your concerns when you turned down this application, your administrator said that I would need your approval in order to get it back on your agenda. At the time that proposal was brought to you, I was unaware of it. Local cyclists were unaware of it. Citizens were unaware of it. Local agencies, including the Chamber of Commerce and Leavenworth Main Street, were not aware of it. Adventure Cycling is a national organization recognized as an authority for bicycle routes in the United States. In fact, in 1976, they devised a route that crossed the country that still exists today, and it goes through central Kansas. And it's economically beneficial to the communities that have that. It's marked, it has clear signage, clear roads, and they benefit both economically and through grants from the state of Kansas. After speaking with the Kansas Department of Transportation, I learned that there are no costs to Leavenworth County for the route. Additionally, once the route is approved, Leavenworth County will be eligible for road improvement grants for being on this route. I want to paint a picture of the impact of the riders on U.S. Bicycle Route 55, because we've also heard of a concern of cyclists on the road, and it's a valid concern. I have promoted events here in Leavenworth. You all have approved those events. I've had people, 200 up to 300 riders in one day on these same roads. And by the way, we've redevised the route that you last saw, so to address some of those concerns. But what we're talking about is not 200, 300, or even 50. This would be a case of 1 to maybe 10 people at a time that would be going through our county. And those people would be looking for historical sites. They're looking for hotels, restaurants, and stores. Spending tax money, staying in our hotels, providing us, tax money for the hotels. As of this week, 17 communities of the 20 that were approached have said yes to this in Kansas, on the eastern side of Kansas. Tyro, a town of 177 people, said no. They said they have no businesses in their town, therefore it would be of no benefit to them to have this route through there. And then there is Leavenworth County. We would like the opportunity to review with you your concerns for the route. And as I said, we've redevised the route, working with local cyclists, people from Basser, people from Leavenworth, people from Tonganoxie, to make it a safer route. We've spoken to some of you about the potentially dangerous routes. We revise these routes, as I said, and I think we can achieve an outcome that would be beneficial not only to cyclists, but to businesses and to the county in terms of roads and construction. And I just ask you, will you support this topic on your agenda? Thank you.
I have a question. Then this is a rhetorical question. You all understand it. This doesn't involve alcohol or drugs when you're bicycling, correct?
No.
No brew to brew.
No brew to brew.
Very good. I'm fine with putting it on the agenda.
Yeah, I am too. I'd like to hear more about it. So I'm trying to think back why we turned it down. There were some.
Do we have a consensus instead of discussion? Because we don't normally discuss with
Yep.
it. Do we have a consensus for it to go back onto another agenda? Okay.
Yep.
Mark, please place that on a future agenda, and we will notify you when that date is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And now we have Mr. Raymond Reynolds.
Hello. Raymond Reynolds, 25701 Donahue Road. Thank you guys for saying something for me. I just want to tell you guys how I feel. I feel like I'm being tried for a settled case from 15 years ago, twice. and I feel like I'm being targeted. And it's hard to think up here for a second. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to think. I'm being punished for a hardship that I had 15 years ago. And then I would like to resolve this. So if you guys want to resolve it, let's get this done. Let's get this over with. The county doesn't need to be going through this. I don't. You guys don't. I want to bring up, Jeff Culberson had mentioned the 1% of bad SUPs. I'd like to know how I fit in that 1%. And then, other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have no additional public comments, so if
We had one.
I don't have, that's what I have on my list of individuals who have signed up.
Doesn't our policy say if there's additional
Well, we
that you're
can.
allowed to?
That's fine, but we have, yeah, go ahead. I don't have anybody else on the list.
Yeah.
Morning.
Well, that's okay. I tried many times to get them to call me, and I'm a nobody, I guess, so they didn't return my calls. Anyway, I got a couple notes here. I was just going to get up there and freestyle, but I could go on all day about Raymond. So I'm just going to stick to this little note I just wrote. My name's Jason Rowland.
And you are from, where's your address?
Where I'm from?
Yeah, well, your address.
7308 North Avalon Street in Kansas City, Missouri, 64152, United States of America. I met Raymond about 10 years ago at the Greater Kansas City Home Show. We just happened to be set up next to each other, and after spending 4 days with the guy next to me, seeing how he talked to potential customers and how he conducted himself, I decided I'd start referring them since I didn't know any other fence contractors. And in that 10-year period, I've referred him many times over and heard nothing but good things, nothing. He's helped me in my business. I've referred him to friends, family, everybody. He always does what he says he's going to do, and that's difficult. Myself being a contractor, that's hard to do. You have difficult customers, difficult situations, other things outside, contracting. It's tough, but he does it. And I've been a contractor for over 30 years, and I wouldn't be here. I've known lots of contractors, a lot of them are my friends, and I wouldn't have shown up for today for any of them. And that's a testament to who he is and the kind of person and the kind of contractor that he is. In closing, I'd just like to say I consider him a trusted friend now after 10 years. He's a great contractor, and he's also an asset to the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Carol Harris, 24578 Knight Road, Tonganoxie, Kansas. And I have a short comment here I'd like to read. I'm writing this character witness letter on behalf of Raymond Reynolds, a truly exceptional individual I've had the privilege of knowing for many years. I'm proud to share my heartfelt testimony about Raymond's outstanding character. Raymond Reynolds is the epitome of professionalism. As the owner of his own fence company, he has displayed remarkable dedication, expertise, and an unwavering commitment to excellence in his work. His business acumen and work ethic are truly commendable, setting him apart as a leader in his field. Not only is Raymond a professional success, but he is also deeply ingrained in the fabric of our community. His warm and friendly demeanor has made him well-liked by everyone he encounters. Raymond's contributions to our community go far beyond his professional achievements. He actively participates in community events, always willing to offer a helping hand and support those in need. He is a genuine and compassionate community member, which makes him a valuable asset to our neighborhood. Raymond's life journey is nothing short of inspirational. He emerged from a challenging childhood marked by poverty to achieve incredible success in both his personal and professional life. His story is a testament to the power of resilience, determination, and hard work. Raymond's life serves as a source of inspiration and motivation to all who have the privilege of knowing him. Raymond is not just a successful businessman, he's a devout Christian who lives out his faith through his actions. He embodies the principles of love, compassion, and humility in everything he does. His unwavering commitment to his Christian values is a shining example of his integrity and moral character. As a father, Raymond is an upstanding role model for his children. He provides them with a loving, nurturing, and supportive environment to grow and thrive. He instills in them the same values of hard work, kindness, and community involvement that he himself exemplifies. Raymond's dedication to his family is truly admirable. Beyond all these qualities, Raymond is also known for his remarkable generosity and charitable nature. He continually seeks ways to give back to those less fortunate and contribute to various charitable causes. His acts of kindness and philanthropy have made a profound and positive impact on many lives in our community. In addition to being a dedicated father and community member, Raymond is also a loving husband and partner. His unwavering support and companionship have been a source of strength and comfort for his family and all the challenges and joys that life has presented. In summary, I have the most admiration and respect for Raymond Reynolds. He is a professional, a community-minded individual, a living testament to the rags to riches story, a good Christian man, an upstanding father, exemplary role model, and a generous, charitable soul. He is also a loving husband and partner who stands by his family through thick and thin. Raymond's character is an inspiration to all who have the privilege of knowing him. I wholeheartedly endorse him without reservation. In Philippians 4:8-9, Paul tells us, "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there's any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you." So we don't focus on the lies in the world, but on the true things. And if you have any further questions or require additional information regarding Raymond Reynolds, don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning.
I'm Dan Lungu. I'm going to be living at 23054 McLeod Road, hopefully in a couple months. I'm a owner of DL Granite, DNA Homes, and Sunrise Group. I'm here just to support the small business for a special use permit. I've been in that situation, and I know it can be tough, especially these times. I'm from Romania. I came here 21 years ago. I grew up next door to Ukraine. The world is not very kind right now. We probably should be one each other and try to solve our problems. Anyway, you guys provide a lot of things. I work really hard, and actually I moved my business to industrial park. A lot of challenges, when you have to pay for a building permit $16,000 and put a building of $800,000. I know this is the ideal, everybody should be there, but it's tough. So I want to support him. I know him. He did a lot of work for us. He did my personal house and other, houses that we built. And I don't know a lot of the stories that everybody said, 15 years ago. I just want to support him as a business to be in a community. We need a lot of revenues. I know probably people think that small business that they don't do. It's tough to make it right now. I appreciate you guys. Looks like the county's looking pretty good, but small guys got to make it too. So just my support for him. Thank you for everything you guys do.
Thank you.
All right, if we have no one else, then we will move on to...
I had Bayshore City Council last week and attended Fairmount Township Fire Department's open house on Saturday. Attended Hill's pet food plant grand opening, I guess we'll call it. And I got Mid-America Regional Council next Tuesday.
And the dog fell off the stage.
And it lived.
Robot.
I heard that. I thought that was pretty cool, though.
It's built well, isn't it?
Got right
It stood back up.
It took a fall, I'm telling you.
Yeah, the $200,000 robot dog fell off the stage. But it gave us a little levity for the event. Today, Commissioner Culberson and I are going to be going to the Hams landfill in Olathe, which is a highly regulated landfill, which they actually train the KDHE inspectors, and we're going to see how a very high-quality C&D landfill is operated. So that should be interesting.
That's one right there in town.
I don't know the address.
That's
but
right.
yeah.
You can't even tell it's a landfill. It looks like an industrial park.
I doubt that it smells very much, but we'll see. We'll see. We have the. I helped with the Elephant Club Forum. However, I had to go to work, so I had to turn it over to somebody else. But a couple days ago, it was a good forum. And just one comment. I would like to just say one comment. I believe that people change. I believe in redemption, and I believe that conditions change.
Commissioner Culberson, do you have anything?
Just that I got the LAVTR letter that the commission worked on, finalized, and worked out some of the problems with the treasurer getting that into the tax statements that go out next 2 weeks.
So we're allowed to do it?
Yep.
Good.
So it's all ready to go. They're going to print them out, fold them, put them in with the tax statement. So all 33,000 or whatever tax bills that go out will have an explanation letter included in their tax statement about what LAVTR is. Yes, sir.
Mr. Culberson, as I stated in an earlier meeting, there is no ballot question that this informational letter would be addressing, so I think it's entirely proper as long as it's purely informational. I would ask for the opportunity to review it prior to its actually going into the envelopes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yep.
And Jeff, I appreciate you taking the lead on that. We've all been involved, but I appreciate you taking the time of sitting behind that desk, squibbling and things like that. And I also referenced that is I have the letter that the City of Lansing mayor signed off, asking all our legislators to approve it. So I'll get you a copy of that too.
Perfect. That's all I have.
Chairperson, I just have a couple things. Lansing had their fair or their autumn festival this past week, largest one we've had in the last 15, 16 years. Of course, weather was perfect, good turnout. Got to see a lot of folks out I get to see on a regular basis. So it was just a great outing. And also had lunch with the City Administrator Tim Vandal. Tim and I don't know if I've mentioned that, but we have lunch every month so we can see what's going on, or we can talk about the county and the city of Lansing to see if there's anything that we can help each other with as time goes by. Being a partner is always an easier way to do things. So that's all I had, Madam Chair.
And as Bill said, I attended the local council meeting with him yesterday afternoon, and the Leavenworth County project, several of them scored very well during that process. And I will share with Mark, and then he can share with the commissioners. I took photographs so that of the visuals when they finished with the graphs that showed how we did and
How he scored?
How we scored, and we
Okay.
scored very, very well. We had probably 20 people from Leavenworth County who attended, which I think was really good. We had, and there were a lot more people there. A tribute to how well we did and how beneficial our study was. There were 200 people who attended that consult meeting, which was more than what they had expected, and we were still one of the top scoring, if not the top scoring project for one of our projects that KDOT is looking at. So I think
the regional transportation study
I said it really was.
that everybody put money into is going to pay off.
Absolutely.
I mean, it seemed like a lot of money, but one project.
Right, having having that, the fact that it was several, the city and the counties, and then the state acknowledged that they had also put in money for the study, and so, but I think it was a good investment, money well spent.
Real good investment.
There is a Zoom. If any of the other commissioners are interested, and we can forward you the email so that you have it, there will be a Zoom local consult final meeting for people who couldn't make it in person. If there's anybody that's interested in doing it via Zoom, if you're interested, then I'll go ahead and forward that email to you, and if not, there's no reason for me to do that.
Do you know the date?
I think it's the 20th.
It's soon.
Yeah, it's soon.
It's
It's within the next week. I think it's the 23rd, maybe, but it's within.
I'd be interested if you want.
Okay. Then I'll forward it, and then you can decide if you can make it. It's an afternoon Zoom meeting, so call if you
Couldn't
can.
make yesterday. I want to thank you for attending.
Okay. And
Very
then,
important that the commission was represented.
Yep. And here in a few minutes, I will be participating in the Port Authority meeting, and that's it for this week. So if we
Motion
don't
to
have
adjourn?
anything, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Beginning with Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you.